Yeah, so I think it was really that first quarter. We were right there for three quarters. For three quarters, it was completely even score. We actually won the second half by one, 46-45. Just how we defended the three-point line at the beginning. I mean, they were 7 of 8 from three. And I felt a lot of those were transition, which we did speak about pregame. I felt like, especially against hot shooters, Young, Gray, we're just closing out too short. We weren't actually getting them off the line, and just the looks were too open. We weren't getting the level of contest that we need to defend the three-point line better. So I think that was the start of it, and then really the switching slowed us down a lot in that first half. Good call from Vegas to go to those late switches to really slow Carla down. For the second half, with the tweaks we made, it was much better. But I think switching it's something you got to practice, and we haven't seen it really since we played Indiana last. So I think just being more prepared for that, and we're going to see that obviously with the Indy game coming up. But credit to them, that was a good scheme to go to, and I think if we'd started with kind of what we were doing in the second half, we would have had more success against it earlier on.
Questions?
Thanks, Alex. Wyatt. Alex, what obviously 15-point swing in that first quarter, and like you said, you guys, if the game was only second, third, and fourth quarters, it's an even game. You guys are going to overtime. Unfortunately, there was the first quarter. What was the big shift for you guys going into the second quarter? Because it felt kind of, obviously they were just getting everything free, but what was the big change in that second quarter for you guys defensively?
Yeah, so kind of in the timeouts and end of quarter break, we really just spoke about how we were defending the three-point line more specifically, and then we're trying to bait our show. So what we were doing is the last to make sure we were positioned well to not be overhelping. So yeah, we did a much better job. I thought we came out for the remaining three quarters. We defended better. We really spoke about the off-ball screening actions, the rips for Asia. I thought we did a really good job with those. But yeah, it was when against a really good team, when you start slow like that, it's I think it's very hard to get back in. I mean, we were able to cut it to 5, I think it was in the third, but just couldn't sustain it.
Obviously, hard to draw the Las Vegas Aces the next game after losing a player like Sarah Parker. She's so important to everything you guys do. But how do you feel the team has? I guess without Sarah Parker today, how do you feel the team performed as a whole? Because that's a massive point for you guys.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that, Nick. I think, it's really probably going to take a few games to really adapt and get used to that. So I think it's, it's really early days still. I think it's going to require multiple games for kind of players to adapt to new roles, positions, defensive schemes. We're asking them to take on now that, one of our best defenders is out. So, I think we're, once we got a better sample size after a few more games, we're able to see. And obviously, as a coaching staff, we just got to make sure we're constantly learning, reflecting, and see, how we can best plug those gaps and fill the void.
And another big game for Megan and Frida have both been playing really well the past couple of weeks, and Frida has really stood out the past couple of weeks. We've talked about her a lot. Early this season, the team was really guard heavy. Carla and Bridget were really lighting it up, and they still could any night. But how do you feel the team is? I guess the evolution of this team has really come along this year, knowing that Megan and Frida have really stepped things up as your bigs.
They have, Nick, and I'm glad you're spotlighting Megan and Frida's play. I think I'm delighted with their development. I really am. We're a development orientated program, so we gotta keep going. We're pleased with development, but we know we've always, like internal development, that's what we have to do to be able to get to where we want to be. So, I'm really happy seeing the progress being made, but at the same time, I know we can push them to another level. But no, I do, Meg, like terrific things she's doing in the pick and roll, like her how much she's grown there is really pleasing. And then just learning more how to play off ball as a spacer and understand our drive reactions. And then with Frida, I think highlight, she got to the line 4 times tonight, took 8 free throws. So that's really encouraging, just finding really efficient shots. They both rebounded. They both had 11 rebounds between them tonight. That's a positive for us. So I think we, in this last stretch, we got 16 games left after this. I think we got to keep celebrating kind of the player development success stories. That's really important heading into, next season and beyond.